Jon Rahm this season on Live Golf. He's played very, very well. 3 runner-up finishes and had that dramatic win in Hong Kong as well. So Jon Rahm comes into this Masters in good form, and of course, he has good vibes as well, winning the green jacket 3 years ago. He's inside the press building right now.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're pleased to be joined in the interview room today by our 2023 champion, Jon Rahm. Jon, welcome back to the Masters for the 10th time. You've had 4 top 10s here. You've made 9 out of 9 cuts. In addition to your 2023 win, you've been in top form so far this year. Tell me a little bit about your preparation coming into leading to your good form coming in this week.
That could be a very, very long answer.
I know you did a lot over the winter.
Yeah, having the time off was very nice. Over 3 months, I could definitely think about what I thought I could improve on, what my swing felt like throughout the year, and what needed to change, and still working on it. Right, I think I got into some bad habits for a couple of years that I was able to maneuver around, even around the time when I won here in 23, that I'm still trying to work out of, right? And on those 3 months, I did a lot of good work, and I think that's what set the base to how good I've played this year.
Great. We're now going to start with questions in English, and we'll reserve some time at the end for questions in Spanish.
Jon, could you describe the difficulty of the second shot into the third green and just kind of the importance of that hole and the rhythm of the round? You obviously birdied it on Sunday when you won here in 2023.
Well, it all depends on the wind, the pin location, and how firm the greens are, right? If the greens aren't very firm, which that hasn't been the case the last 3-4 years when they redid that green, right? It's been firm every year. You can be quite aggressive. You can just hit it way up there and be comfortable that with any wedge shot, you're gonna be able to stop it on the green. Now you have pins like front right, front middle, front left, where there's a gap where if you're in between, right, you're not far enough to create some spin, or you're not close enough to be comfortable bumping it on the green, where you're going to have to be very, very passive, so it becomes a very difficult shot. Any back pin, my recommendation, hit it way up there, and then use the contours of the green to get it close. But those short ones, you'll see a lot of different options. If you have the length, you can go right at it at the green and try to hit it on the upslope, so you have the option of bumping it or hitting a high soft shot. If not, to the right pin, what I've done in the past is almost hit it to the scoreboard, as far left as possible. So even if you leave yourself 60 yards, you have a little bit of extra room and up the hill to stop it. But each one plays it however they feel like, right? If you're a good enough wedge player and you have confidence in your wedge game, you can lay up and leave yourself a 110 to 130 shot, which I don't think is the easiest with the ever swirling winds of Augusta National. But I have done it to the short left pin a couple times in the past, just because I didn't think I could get it close enough to the green to be comfortable. So it's a hole that everybody assumes we birdie, yet it still plays over par because of how intricate it is.
Charlie?
Jon, there are certain shots here where the degree of difficulty is obvious, talking about 3, the approach at 11, trying to judge the wind at 12. Do you feel like there are certain approach shots where the degree of difficulty is maybe underrated? We don't talk about enough.
I could make that argument for every single shot on this golf course. Yeah, I don't think the wedge shot on 13 and 15, if you lay up, are ever talked about enough. You are most likely going to be on quite a bit of a downslope and into the green, right? Into a green that is not always the easiest, especially 15. Like that, those shots to the front pins, and even the back middle one, right? Even watching the women's amateur is not the easiest shot. You have the leaders coming in and hitting the green becomes a difficult task. And even hitting it close to the pin it's very, very difficult to pin this towards the back of the green. So those are 2 shots that I always tell people, especially 15, with the water being a bit more of a threat. 13, you can have a bit of a backstop to most of the pins, but it's for 60, 70, 80 yards is a lot more difficult than anybody would realize. But again, I can make that case for a lot of shots, right? I think a lot of people have this idea that Augusta National is wide, And then you come here for the first time and you start seeing where, if you really truly have to be aggressive on some shots, how narrow it gets, right? How narrow really 1, 2, 5 can get. 7 is way narrower than people think. Even 8, once you get towards the bunker, or the end of the bunker, it becomes narrower. And even though they've made it a little wider, there's no picnic.
In the back, Patrick.
John, you mentioned you got into some bad habits these last couple of years. I'm wondering, what were they and how did they limit you?
Just a certain part of a takeaway that I wasn't comfortable with. And for a fader of the golf ball, when the ball starts left, going further left is a really bad thing. So a lot of it was trying to eliminate that as much as possible.
Kyle.
Yeah, John, I'm curious, you won here, obviously, in 2023. What part of your game is better than it was in 2023, and what part is maybe not as solid?
It's tricky, because with the weather we had, you're kind of trying to survive, right? The golf course played so different to how it usually plays with how much rain and wind and cold we had. So the greens were rather soft compared to the last few editions. It was a bit of survival most of the week. If you go back, besides a few of the high draws I hit, it was a very low tee, low fade, trying to keep it in play most of the time, just because the water we could have on the club face could affect the ball flight a little too much. So that was what I was comfortable with. If I had to say what was really good on 2023, that is probably getting towards that level again, hopefully, is my iron game. I hit my irons really well, but the one thing that sticks out from that week was short game and putting inside 10 feet. Even though I had a 3-putt and 2 3-putts and a 4-putt that tournament inside 10 feet, it was very, very good. That's which, if you can avoid making bogeys, obviously it's a massive thing around here and anywhere.
Ewan.
John, hi. Obviously, it has emerged that you withdrew your appeal over the fines on the DP World Tour. Could I just ask why you did that, and how do you feel the current position sits with regard your involvement in the Ryder Cup?
Like I've said the last few interviews, we keep talking with the DP World Tour and trying to figure out a solution that works best. I didn't think that going the legal route and going to court was good for anybody. So I have faith in us and the DP World Tour. We're gonna find a good solution for both of us.
Still confident you will play at Adair Manor?
Yeah.
James.
John, you've attended now a couple of these Masters Champions dinners. I'm just wondering how the experience is maybe different or surprising in ways that different than you expected, I guess.
Well, I've attended 2. So one was my own, and then the other one was being Scottish. They're very different experiences. Being your own, quite nerve-wracking, having to sit next to Mr. Crenshaw, Mr. Ridley, and looking to your left and your right and just seeing the icons of this game, right? Just looking to my left and seeing Tom Watson and Jack Nicklaus and a couple spots down is Tiger and Mark Ramira, and same down the right. So, and then you're looking straight ahead and there's Gary Player and Nick Faldo. So, very, very daunting, very daunting. Very worried about having to give a speech, I'm not gonna lie. Very emotional moment, and the fact that it was again on April 9th, which would have been Seve's birthday when we had the dinner, which made it a bit more emotional. Still probably one of the coolest experiences of my life, because given to the date that it was, and Mr. Crenshaw alluded to it, all of those greats had spent time with Seve, starting with Ollie, starting telling stories about Ryder Cups and previous matches with him. And those are things for somebody that's researched as much as possible, those are stories I've never heard. Maybe they've never told anybody. And it was quite unique to see a full room of grown men, in essence, acting like kids again because of the love they have for this game and the stories of Seve. So for me, that was about as special a dinner can get. Second one being Scottish, sitting next to Sergio and Jose. I mean, it's like a dream come true. Obviously, we're only missing Seve. Being able to sit beside those two, and between them it was special and very fun in a different way. A lot less pressure in a lot of ways, but it's a very fun and unique experience that it's still hard to wrap my head around, that I'm going to be able to do hopefully for the rest of my life. So it's unique.
Mary Kate.
Hi, John. The 13th tee is so secluded from the patrons, the cameras, and the overall tournament buzz. For those who will never experience it, can you take us to that stretch of the property with what you see, what you feel when you're there?
It is very different to play such a high-quality event, such a high-level event, and once you leave the 12th tee, you're playing essentially, the green on 12 and the tee shot on 13 with virtually nobody there. The closest people are 160 yards away from the green and probably 200 yards away from the tee. So it is, in a weird sense, odd because how quiet it is, right? If you were to make a putt on 12, you hear a 2-second delay cheer from the grandstands on 12, but sometimes we don't know if it's somebody doing something on 11, a scoreboard changing, or your shot. And then 13, it seems like nobody really knows what's going on when we're back there. It's a very nice moment of quiet and peace within the madness that it can be a tournament this big in a Sunday afternoon, right? So it's a nice welcome change of pace in that sense. Obviously 12 is no picnic, so having a little bit of quiet is kind of nice. And same with the tee shot on 13.
Don.
John, there was some considerable excitement about Tiger possibly returning here this year, and then we realized he has perhaps more important challenges to be dealing with. How would you describe the mood among your community and how your fellow pros feel about the challenges Tiger is facing?
There's a lot of players in this field that were very close to him, and I haven't had the time to talk to them, and quite frankly, I don't know if this will be the week to do so. They have enough going on this week with the Masters and a friend needing some help that I don't know if it's the right time. So I haven't had any conversations with anyone about it. All I can hope is that that he gets the help that he can get and he can come back in a better position after that. He is arguably the king of comebacks. So if there's somebody that has the mental strength to come back from an issue like that, it'll be him. And confident that he has enough people in Florida, enough golfers for sure supporting him on that as well.
Bob.
John, is it your understanding that you are unable to play a DP World Tour event right now until this situation is resolved?
I truly don't know. I'm not planning to play until September, so that's a bit of a positive. If I were unable right now, it doesn't matter since I'm not planning to tee it up till after August, like I have done my career, but I do intend to continue supporting the DP World Tour. I've been very thankful to be a member. I've been very thankful to support that tour and play some wonderful events. The Irish Open has been very good to me, and I would love to make a return. Wentworth has been fantastic every single year. Spanish Open, right? Maybe even the Dunhill. We have some other events like the French Open and the Omega. So those are events I would love to have a chance to play.
Are you willing, perhaps, or to broach the idea of some sort of compromise?
I think I already have. We've already told them many times. I just don't think this is the week to be talking about this with being the first major of the year and how important this is for the game of golf in general and for all of us. We keep talking to them and we keep trying to negotiate. I have given in quite a bit on a few things, which I think I talked about on my last press conference, but we're going to work it out. It's going to work out. I said right now the DP World Tour is done what they need to do and following the channels they need to follow, but I'm confident this will be sorted out before I tee it up in September.
Joy.
John, of all the challenges that Augusta National poses as a golf course, where would you rate the elevation changes for people who have just come into golf, and how difficult is that even for guys like you, the many elevation changes on this golf course?
Mm-hmm. I think more than the elevation changes is the lies that you end up having because of those changes, right? Like if you hit a good tee shot on 2 and you're able to go left of that bunker, you have a very downhill lie with the ball above your feet. A lot of times with wind off the left on that hole, right? So that's not an easy shot. What I was alluding to earlier to 13 and 15, you're hitting a 50, 60, 70, 80 yard wedge shot on a lie that you don't ever practice because you don't really have those ever in par fives, and if you do, sometimes you try to avoid them. But there's some holes where you need to hit it close enough, and there's no way avoiding it on 15, for example. So it's getting comfortable with that second shot on 13 as well. Even the second shot on 18, very few holes are that uphill. So more than getting used to playing X amount of yards up or down is the position you're in the fairway, trying to hit those shots that I think can be more of a challenge.
Cameron.
With it being about 3 weeks since you've last played, I'm wondering if you would prefer to have an event closer to the Masters and what you've been doing in the time to prep for this week.
I'm more of a player that's like to have a little bit of time off before a major. I don't usually like to play the week before, at least in my career. If I have to, I will. It's not a problem. But if given the choice, I'd rather have the prior week off. So happy to have had 2 weeks off in this time and kind of reassure what I've been working on is the right things.
Alex.
And you talked about the 12 and 15, or 12 and 13, 15. At Amen Corner, you're under par career-wise here.
I am?
Yeah.
Surprising. Good. No, I didn't know.
Could you talk about what, from an optimum standpoint, your approach is to 11, 12, and 13 in regards to winds, what clubs you like to hit, and what hole locations you like in those holes?
Ooh. Again, that could be a very long answer, Alex.
We have a lot of time, John.
I don't know if we have that much time. I mean, I'll start with 12. 12 is the easiest one. Number one, be on land. Number two, hopefully it's on the green. If not, let's try to make it up and down. I think early on my few years in the Masters, I tried to be more aggressive on 12 than I needed to, and now is hit the middle of the green, 2-putt, move on. Is that simple. I'm pretty confident when I say that I'm over par on that hole. I think I am over par on 12. But 11, I have played good in the past. I mean, you get to the tee, is hit a driver as hard as you possibly can. And then I think we all have a very similar strategy. We all aim basically at the right edge of the back bunker, try to hit on that middle third of the green, on the wider side. And if you happen to pull a little bit, you have plenty of room to hopefully miss it on the green. And then if you miss right, you can always try to get up and down, worst make a 5. I don't really think I've ever gone flag hunting to any pin that is on that left side. Unless it was a year where it was downwind and find yourself with a short iron where you can actually be aggressive. Most of the time it's a 6, 5, 4 iron and you're just hoping to hit the green. And then 13 being a par 5, obviously you want to start off with a good tee shot. Obviously a lot more challenging now with the distance to give yourself the right shot into the green. What a lot of people don't know with this added number is even if you hit a draw down the left, if you don't hit it far enough, those tree branches are still on your way. So you can't really go for it unless you hit a big draw into not the widest green, right? So even if you draw it too much right to left, if you land it in the middle, you can still miss the green left, and it just becomes a tricky shot. So 13 being a par 5 is try to be aggressive off the tee. If not, you can still leave yourself a wedge shot to try to make a birdie. But I think on 11 and 12, we're all trying to eliminate big numbers. Birdies can't happen, not very often, but they're just trying to play, would it be a conservative line with an aggressive swing?
Maybe a couple more questions in English. Brian?
John, back to that Champions Dinner Seve stories. I know there's a lot you probably can't share, but is there one good one that you heard that you can share with us?
I mean, I think I could share all of them. It's just that they're elaborate. Now, I'm not going to do it justice because when people live those, I think the funniest thing I could say is Bernard Langer was telling the story about, I think it was him and Monty playing foursomes in the Ryder Cup with Valderrama, and they went to 18. And I think they said they're either one down or all square. And I think it was Monty. If it wasn't Monty, I'm sorry. Whoever Bernard was playing with missed it right on the trees. And whoever knows about Valderrama, those trees are no joke. And back then the rough was 4 or 5 inches, which adds onto it, right? And Bernard was trying to pitch it out. Here comes Seve, golf cart zoom in, right? Drifts in there, gets off, and tells him, Bernard, have you considered hitting a 2-iron over the trees and you slice it 50 yards onto the green, right? Only thing Seve could think about. So Bernard kind of waves him off, chips out, they hit it on the green, make up and down for par. Americans 3-putt. But then Bernard says, I don't know who we were playing against, but that was great. And right directly in front of him was Tiger and Mark Romero, and both of them got, that was against us. Maybe slightly different language to what I was used there, but the fact that he was right in front of Tiger Woods and he told the whole story and he said, I forgot who I was playing against, and he was right on. I mean, it was probably one of the best moments I've ever witnessed golf-wise. It was quite incredible, and to be live and witness that, which has nothing to do with the story, it was the fact that it was them sitting in front, which who forgets playing Tiger and beating him on 18 because they three-putted? I mean, come on, that's just, I know he's played a lot of golf, but that doesn't seem like something you would forget.
Last question in English, Bob.
Jon, earlier you talked about the difficulty that's underrated of those third shots into the par fives on the back. So given that, were you still shocked what happened to Rory last year on 13? Or can you even sort of understand how maybe that might have happened?
Can I understand? 100%, we can all understand. Out of all shots, because he laid up down the left side on 13, which is the flattest side to that pin, it is surprising that with how well he was playing, he would miss it right off the pin, having that slope left of it, right? I mean, he could have hit it 20 feet left and most likely end up with 10 feet for birdie, but he was dealing with other things, right? I mean, I hope to be in a position one day to go down the 13th at any golf course with a chance to win a Grand Slam. And knowing how well he's played here in the past and hasn't gotten it done. So I think it's a reflection of the magnitude of the moment rather than the shot itself, right? Again, is it surprising? Entirely no, but it's such a big moment that it can make you make mistakes like that.